Hey there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. This is Turgon the Wise coming at you with a new video today. And we're here not to just stare at my gear, I'm not showing off. I landed on this screen for a very specific reason, and we're going to get to that very shortly. Today's video, we're going to be talking about 2.0 prep. We're prepping for 2.0. Today is the 26th of October, 2023, and all we know about 2.0 is that it's coming soon for everyone. We know that it's going to drop sometime in November. Who knows? It could be, let's look at a calendar here. I mean, Halloween is the 31st, so that's October. It's not going to drop then. But perhaps it could drop as soon as the 7th. Maybe it's going to be the 14th. Hell, do we even know it's going to be deployed on a Tuesday like all their standard maintenances? Maybe not. We don't know. All we know is it's coming sometime in November. And based upon the timelines articulated in the recent video that was provided by the developers, it's probably going to be sometime early to mid November because there are other things that are coming later in November, like the second PBE is going to open, which is going to be purely to test the new engine that is going to be deployed in version 2.0 sometime in December. So when 2.0 deploys, it doesn't matter if you're in a season or if you're not in a season. You're getting it. So if you're in a season, you're in the middle of a big fight, you're going to have your whole world turned upside down when version 2.0 deploys. Just because you're in the middle of a season doesn't make you exempt from 2.0. They're not going to wait for you to finish your server and return to back end or start a new server to drop 2.0 on you. You will get it in the middle of your season. It is not a server upgrade, it's a platform upgrade. That means the whole platform is going from version 1 to version 2 sometime in November. So, I have been working quite a bit to prepare for version 2.0. And I'm showing this screen just as kind of a launch point here so you can get an idea of this is my old gear. And when version 2.0 deploys, you will retain your old gear, except your uniques. All your uniques are going to get stripped bare bones down to nothing. You're going to get all of your equipment, all the materials that you put into it, you're getting all that back. All your mithril, you're getting that back. After you get your mithril back, your returned mithril is going to be converted into the new mithril. Now, if I remember correctly from the post, the purple mithril is going to be converted into pure mithril at a 2-to-1 rate. So this 240 purple mithril I see here is going to provide me with 120 pure mithril. And if you look at a T1 unique, this 360 is going to be traded in at a 4-to-1 clip. So this is going to give me 90, right? 360 divided by 4 is 90. So I'll get 90 pure mithril for this. Okay? So 90 plus 120, that's going to give me 210 pure mithril just for these two pieces. And then there's other pieces that I have that are not refined at all. And I'll just probably get 60, 60 blue for each of these. So that's 120 divided by 4. That's going to get me about 30 pure mithril for these two pieces. And then also you have to consider all the mithril you already have. So this 297, let's pull out the calculator. Let's do some math here. Actually, hold on. I got this thing called a Google spreadsheet. Let's use that. Let's see. So I have blue mithril. I got 297 of those, right? So I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to worry about this. And then you take this number and you divide it by 4, and that's going to get me 74. They're going to round this down probably to 74. Okay. I got 14 purple mithril. Oop, that's a 0. And it's just, this is, anyone can do this. Now this is 3.5, so they're going to round this up to 4. And then the gold mithril is just going to convert to the gold mithril, and I have 5 of those. Right, so that's the conversion. And if you're looking for where the conversion stuff is all listed, it's all in Discord. I'm going to pull up my chat here real quick and then go to game news. Like everything has been announced. So anyone who has this game news that gets piped into your Discord, it's all in here. Or you can just go straight to the official Lord of the Rings Rise to War Discord server. Currently, I'm on the version 2.0 PBE announcements, so you see even more information listed here. This seems to be a little bit dated, but I don't see any newer data that would supersede this. So my assumption is that all of this information is still valid. It just hasn't been put in the official game news announcements yet. So probably need to take it with a grain of salt because anything could still change between what we witnessed in the PBE, which to be honest I didn't play, versus what will be deployed in 2.0. And I'll get to all this in a little bit. Let's see. I was just looking for where they talk about converting um, the mithril conversion. I'm pretty sure it's in one of these. Commander stuff. Because I wanted to actually like reference the specific thing that I remember seeing, but now I can't remember where I saw it. Equipment conversion, equipment reforging, equipment resetting, Matham vouchers. So here's where they talk about. There it is. There's the ratio. There it is. So all blue mithril owned by tacticians will be converted into pure mithril at a ratio of 4 to 1. So 4 blues for 1 pure. Impure mithril, purple, will be converted into pure mithril at a ratio of 2 to 1. Okay? Um, so I'm going to call this conversion total. And then I'll put this in here just for conversion ratio. So this is 4 to 1. This is 2 to 1. And this is 1 to 1, obviously. Now, going back here, so I've cleared these 3 out of here. We come back up to Balin's axe. You can see I've had it refined 3 times. That's 240 purple mithril. 0. This is 240. That's going to convert at a 2 to 1 ratio. So we get 200, 120, and then we come back over here. We go to Faramir's Cape. This has 360 blue. What is this Faramir's Cape called? Ranger's Cape. Got it. And this is, what did I say? 360? Tree City. Oh, sorry, it's not funny. And we take this and we divide it by 4. So that's a 4-to-1 ratio. All right, and let me see. Do I have any other? Oh, I got March Warden outfit. So there's no refining on this. Let's see. Let's wrap this. If you're also interested in learning how to navigate spreadsheets, this video is going to be a great crash course for you. And this is going to be a 4-to-1 ratio. Sorry, that was bad. I use hotkeys a lot, so if you're like, what is he doing to do that? I don't do right-click, copy-paste. I use hotkeys. So it's this divided by 4. That's 15. And the same is going to apply. Let me see. Do I have any other uniques up here? I do not. Okay. So let's just add these other uniques here. We got the Glaive of Minas Morgul. That's going to give me 60 blue mithril. So I can just copy paste this, drag this down. It's going to be the same thing. And then we have Rohan's Refuge. That's going to give me 60 blue mithril. And again, it's a 4-to-1 conversion ratio. So if you didn't know this, if you double click on this thing, it drags your formula down to the bottom of your data set. So this is evaluating, B8 divided by 4. This is doing B9 divided by 4. It's the same calculation. So instead of doing the calculation over and over again, I'm just switching it up more quickly. So that's everything. That's going to be, this is the total amount of mithril that I'll have converted. This is everything. This is all I got. So total, right? Now let's see. Does this work in Google Spreadsheets? No. Alt equals is only an Excel thing, apparently. So, that was awesome. It knew what I wanted to do. Yeah, let's do that. 830. Is that really real? Holy smokes, it's a lot. And we can just drag this over here like this. So I'm going to have 338 mithril. And then also, we should factor in Narsil. My bad. Let's insert a row above. Because I don't know if they break down. I think they just break it down. I don't know if I just get to keep the item and they return the mithril and it just loses all of its stars, or if it all just gets destroyed outright. That's actually a question that I have for the developers. So this would be 60 here. So I'll get 60 from this. And this is a 1-to-1 conversion. This is my only T3 unique is Narsil, and I gotta say it's a good one. So in total, I should have 398 mithril. And if you look at this from a perspective of, well, it's 60 mithril to get a unique, I'm pretty close to being able to do 7. I'm like 6.5. This isn't particularly helpful for me. Let's just say 6.6 is good enough. So I can get 6 T3 uniques. Now, one of the things that you may not have noticed in the announcements is, and I'm going to go to it so I can show you. I read through, it took me like an hour to read through all this stuff last night. It's the area, all of this stuff. I read all of it last night. So I want to go to the one that's specific for relics. Command, I think it's this one. Commander respect adjustments. Convert. So this is all talking all about the the conversion. This is not what I'm looking for. This is actually not what I'm looking for at all. Where is the one on relics that I was looking at last night? It's in here somewhere, my friends. It's in here somewhere. Gold coins, that's not it. That's where they talk about units, new respect levels. That's not it. Where did it go? Is it this one? Yes, this is it. Unique equipment items are going to be given the name relics. Commanders who have reached level 10 will unlock the relic slot, but you have to be level 20 to equip it. So there is no way I'm going to have 6 T3 comms at rep 20. So I don't need um, I don't need to, I'm not going to be unlocking 6 T3 relics. So I'll have things to consider. Now, I would assume we're going to still have elven hammers in this to reforge gear. As we finish seasons, I haven't seen anything that states that we don't get that. So, um, what I'm thinking is maybe I go for 1 or 2 relics and then just use the remainder of my mithril to amp them up real strong. Let's see. Yeah, I like that better. So this is kind of how my brain works when I'm thinking and I'm planning what I want to do. Now I'm just going to make this fancy, so don't mind me. Do do do. So, what are some other things that I'm thinking of as I'm preparing for version 2.0? Well, I went through the conversion tool and I went and I recorded manually all the base stats for all the commanders in 2.0. Now, of course, like I said earlier in the video, and I'm going to probably say it at least 6 gajillion more times before I end this one. All of these things need to be taken with a grain of salt because they can literally be changing anything right now. Um, we don't know what 2.0 is going to be like. Like they could tweak stuff however they want from a commander perspective, from a capabilities perspective, from a gear perspective. They could change. Any of these numbers are subject to change anytime between now and when 2.0 actually deploys. But I'm a planner. I like to plan. So um, I still like trying to figure out what might be good in a quantitative way. This has nothing to do with abilities. It's just purely based on the base stats that have been provided in this conversion tool. So let's say I go up to, well, I don't think you actually get anything. Yeah, here it is. It's the stats query. So I come over here, I hit Elrond, you know, reselect. So this is all base, 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 base. These stats will change, I assume. I'm pretty sure it's actually states somewhere in all of this that once you upgrade, actually, it might be actually in here. Let me come back over into this image. The new version relics tactician custom relic to the completion status of tasks related will be saved. Yeah, it's not in this one, but it is somewhere in all of these announcements. Like I highly, 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 I know it's a pain and people don't want to take time to read, but read all of this. It's all in here. Somewhere in here, it does say essentially that like if you take one of these mighty commanders, as you level it to a higher rarity, just based upon the language that I'm using in the spreadsheet. I don't know if it's the correct language articulated in the posts, but so like you can boost Boromir's rep to a point where he becomes a legendary commander. These base stats will adjust with it as you upgrade his rarity level. Okay, but purely from a base perspective, I ranked all of these stats compared to all the other commanders. Okay, so then I took an average of all the ranks. So what you're looking at now is the lowest ranks, the average of the lowest rank from lowest to highest. And this is what it looks like. Now I marked the ones green that I'm considering using myself because they look good on paper and because I have them already. I won't be using or leveling, all of these commanders for sure. There are so many other factors that I'm considering that skew all of this. And that's why I'm making this video for you all today, so that I can kind of get out there just what I'm thinking. And I'm caveating it strongly and as often as I can to say all of this is subject to change once 2.0 drops. Everything that I'm doing right now could be wrong, which sucks. But I don't like sitting around and waiting to see what's going to happen. I want to have a plan. And then once I see the actual data, once I see the actual stuff deployed, I will adjust that plan. That's my plan. That's how I operate. So I'm going to go out on a limb and just say WK Witch King looks completely ridiculous. He has high damage, he has high HP, he has high command, he has high attack, he has high defense, he has high speed. He is ranked 18th in focus. Like he's still in the top 20. It's not bad. And if you're wondering what these color gradients all are, I'll just show you, okay? Here's the conditional formatting that I've applied to my ranks. If it's in the top 10, it's red. If it's between 11 and 25, it's dark orange. If it's between 26 and 40th in rank, it's this nice soft cream colored yellow, kind of like a Boston cream donut. Yum. If it's between 41 and 50 in rank, it's green. And if it's lower than 56th in rank, it's blue. And there is 70 commanders in total. So that's how I sliced the pie, okay? 1 to 10, red, and then beyond that, every 15 ranks gets a new color. For 70 commanders, this works because 60 divided by 4 is 15, and then the top, 10 to 60, that gives you 70. 70 commanders, top 10 in red, the rest gets sliced up into 15s. I thought that was the most fair way to kind of visually distribute all this data. This is my spreadsheet. I made it from scratch, and it's proven to be helpful so far in providing an outlook at what each commander's base stats will look like compared to the other base stats of all the other commanders. It's very interesting. Now, I have this gear analysis that I'm working on as well. I'm not trying to record all the gear in here. I know some people have done this, and kudos to you for going to that level of effort, but it's too much data for me. It's not wieldy, it's not practical, it's not focused. What this list does is it's based upon my gear, what I have today, and how I'm thinking about what I want to do with each piece of gear. I've invested a decent amount of capital into this game, and I want to make sure that I leverage these first 30 days after deployment. And this is in the notes as well somewhere. I'm not going to go and try and find it for you, but it's in the notes that in the first 30 days you have an opportunity to, they use the word reset, but really I think they should have used the word siphon. Commander's rep up to 12 times for any commander that you currently have that is rep 3 or higher. It's not really resetting, because when I think of reset, that to me makes me think I have a commander. Let me come over to this. I have Gimli at rep 13. If I reset his rep down to 3, that would give me a lot of rep that I can use to like recycle it and apply it to another commander. That's not how this works. Let me see if I can find this post. I think it's actually back down here in the 2.0. Where's the 2.0? There it is, the announcements. Yes, it's here. Okay, there's where all the conversion. And before I go on, I just want to make this, and I'll probably do this again. I want to make sure that people understand the distinction between converting equipment and reforging it. Converting the equipment is taking a piece of equipment and outright converting it in the old equipment into a random piece of new equipment of the same rarity and slot. So you will trade in your elven white knife and you're going to end up with something completely different, but it will be yellow. Okay? It will be a yellow weapon, and it might be an elven white knife. It might not. It's converting it. Whereas reforging it is basically the same concept as converting. What you would think is converting. I'm converting the old piece of gear to the same piece of gear as the new piece of gear, but they're calling it reforging. Okay, so I wanted to make that distinction just right now while I had it up. This is the respect revalue, the respect value reset. Let's blow this up so you can see. Okay, so in this picture, we have an Aragorn King of Men at rep 12. You use one of your 12. I guess you get 3 per day or something. I don't know how this is going to work from a timing perspective, but you get a max of 12 from what it says. So you can do this 12 times max, I believe. Maybe it changes. Who knows? So you siphon 15,000 rep, equivalent to 50 of the rep tokens, right? 50, for a legendary commander, the rep token that you get is 300. 300 times 50 is 15,000. So you siphon 15,000 rep from this level 12 Aragorn King of Men. He converts down into a rep 10 Aragorn King of Men. You've used one of your 12 maximum siphons. I'm going to call it siphon now because it's not a reset. To me, a resetting means you go from whatever you're at, to the top of where you're at, to the bottom of where you can go. And they said that you can only, siphon down to R3. So once he gets to R3, he's done. So you could siphon this commander 3, 4, 5 times out of your 12 to get at that rep. And you recycle it basically to another commander. You get all this stuff, and then you can apply that rep, I assume, to a different commander. To any commander, I would assume. The respect feature can be used repeatedly on the same commander as long as they meet the requirements, which is R3 or higher. This feature will consume respect conversion vouchers, which will be provided after the update is implemented. These vouchers are valid for 30 days. So the first 30 days after 2.0 deploys are absolutely critical for everyone who continues playing this game. You need to think about what you want to do and how you want to do it before you do it. If you just go willy-nilly, you are at severe risk of doing something dumb or ending up with something that you don't want. And once you do it, you can, at least from this rep perspective, do it again, but it's not efficient to do it again and again and again. Once these vouchers expire, they are removed from the game, no longer be usable for resetting respect. And it should say up here, Your reset opportunities will be equal to the number of commanders you own at respect 3 and above after the update, but does not exceed a maximum of 12 opportunities. So I see 1 out of 3 here. So that tells me I get 12. I could have like infinite. Like I would love to just siphon all the rep off of all the commanders I don't plan to use at all. But they limit us here. And the same thing is going to essentially happen for gear. You get, I think, the gear, you can reset it. You can either convert it or reforge it. Where does it say it? I think it's like you get 10 per day for the first 30 days. Equipment resetting. Each tactician will have 10 opportunities per day to reset equipment within 30 days after logging in. Resetting equipment will return all equipment consumed to refine and strengthen it. So this to me is not the same thing as reforging or converting. So you can take it's like being able to use mithril hammers on 300 pieces of gear, 10 per day for 30 days, 300 pieces of gear total. Um, I guess you can do this as much as you want during that time. It doesn't seem to be specific. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm looking, I want to convert rep. And these are the commanders I'm considering siphoning rep from and recycling into different commanders. I'm not going to siphon the rep from all these commanders, but probably definitely these two. And then I got to see how much I get from them and how much I have left. I might do Treebeard. I might sacrifice. I really wanted to use, coming back over here, if you look at, the ones I want to use, these are the ones that I have right now. And, Treebeard, I guess, for if anyone's not going to make the cut, it's probably going to be my Treebeard because I really like getting off the white, not only for farming, but also potentially for PvP. For Treebeard, I think I don't know what I can use from him. So um, anyway, this is just stuff I'm considering, stuff I'm thinking about. I'm just trying to plan. And this gear stuff, I'm thinking about trying to, these are the gears that I have. Most here, this is based upon what I'm using right now. And I put some notes in here like, okay, well, if I use, instead of using the Hunter's Mark Wizard Fireworks to convert it for Warcry, maybe I want to do a conversion of Beta mounted units or Ranged Might or Mend so I can leverage these other set effects, set bonuses. So I'm trying to build a formation that is going to, perform well in combat. That's going to be difficult for opponents to deal with. And, I'm looking at, potentially, which pieces of gear do I want to keep the same? I like this one. I don't think I'm going to convert this one, even though the base stats are super high. I will miss my resistance protection, which protects me from 30% of um, poison, burn, and focus damage. Sorry, I'm also working at the same time as I'm recording this. Um, a little bit. I just have to respond to some instant messages every once in a while. I apologize for the interruption. But anyway, so this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build myself, all right, these are the commanders I want to use. Do I want to convert the gear? Do I want to use a set formation? So this is like what I'm considering trying. Who knows? I might do this, I might not, but I'm trying to figure out a way that I can really come up with a strong formula that will be a very potent formation. And there's different ways I'm thinking about doing this. So, in one way is I'm trying to create one formation that's going to be just a complete bugger for anyone with anything to deal with. And saw Gil-galad is really high in the stats in a number of areas. Elrond looks like he's losing his ability today. In 1.0, he's like a nuke because he's got Convener, and you can really just basically front load him so that he completely blows up stuff with Convener. In 2.0, that all goes away, and Elrond looks to be more of a tank, which is crazy because Gil-galad is more tanky in 1.0, and now it looks like he's going to be the more the nuke for 2.0. So, what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to use my old gear to protect Gil-galad so I get the most out of his army in the formation. And maybe I'm doing this all wrong, and I'm going to experiment with it. And if I learn that it's not right, then I will make adjustments. But so what I'm going to probably end up doing is leveraging my Aegis on him, my high elf hauberk, and my dragon tooth necklace. So he's got pursuit. He's still immune to stun and madness, and he's got this protection for his army. And then I'm going to put other stuff around him that's going to enhance his formation. So the formation attack plus 20. I assume this is for all the four of the formations. Maybe it's just for Elrond's formation. I don't even know. I'm gonna have to test it and see. Um, but that's what I'm gonna try to use Sharp Blade on Elrond. If it affects Gil-galad, great. If it doesn't, then we'll adjust again accordingly. And I'm thinking about what other commanders can I put in here to help balance this one out. A second kind of theory crafting that I have is, like let's say you want to use a damage dealing com. Um, like like Dane looks like really nasty in a number of respects. Like he's got high HP, high damage, high attack, high defense, but his command is low, his focus and his speed are low. So what I'm thinking is I'm kind of thinking of formations like you want to have one commander that's like your focal point, and then the other commanders in your formation are going to support that focal point. So since I want Dane to be going absolutely ham, I'm going to probably want to consider doing something like coming down to my Casket of the Submerged Isle. Right now, I have Aegis on this, but probably just before 2.0 drops, I'm going to use my last Mithril Hammer, and I'm going to break this, and I'm going to turn it into a Determination Helmet. Now, I only have it at 4-star refined, so it's not going to be 100% you know, immunity, madness immunity to the commander, but it's gonna be better than nothing. So I'm gonna try this to see if I can use Dane and surround him with commanders using set bonuses and the like that will help, you know, him be able to sustain in combat. And I'm gonna look at different pieces of gear that I can use to, jack up Dane's command, to continue jacking up like his HP, his defense, all those kind of things, so that he can sustain himself in combat and get the most out of his high damage capabilities. So I hope in some ways this is insightful for you. I'm also looking around, I'm using this conversion tool left and right to look at like stuff. I'm also using this spreadsheet that's was shared with me uh, that lists what all of the changes to skills are for each of the commanders that were in PBE. Now, all of this is probably the most likely that is subject to change when 2.0 drops. So I really take all of this with a grain of salt, but it's helpful and it's informative to have some kind of a plan. Like they could outright change a whole bunch of these things, they could like swap these, but I don't know if they will. Maybe they'll just tweak this. Maybe instead experienced warrior will deal 150% damage instead of 200 damage. Maybe it'll be 250 damage to one enemy instead of two enemy formations. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they're going to overhaul what they're giving to the commanders entirely, because a lot of these skills align with the skills that they have in 1.0 today. So I don't think they're going to change this a lot. It would be kind of strange if they did. But what they'll probably do is change some of the effects when max to level 5 or the level 10 bonuses. They'll probably tweak these to try and make things a little bit more balanced. So that's my thoughts and where I'm at in terms of my preparation for version 2.0. I'm looking at all of these things, I'm considering all of these factors, and I'm trying to come up with a game plan so that once it deploys, I can be quick to adapt to the new content and put out a strong formation that I expect to perform well, because I don't think that a lot of people are as completely obsessive compulsively insane as me and going through this level of vigorous preparation. Maybe some of you are. I believe that a lot of the top tier players that plan to continue playing are probably going through a similar vigorous exercise to prepare themselves for the update. But for the average player that maybe hasn't read all this stuff and is just like kind of like, well, I'm gonna wait and see what it's like. I hope if you're watching this video, it's making you think a little bit more about doing some prep, and that through showing you how I'm prepping, it's inspired you in some way, and gotten you a little bit more excited for 2.0, because I know a lot of people feel or felt the way that I felt a few weeks ago about 2.0, which is um, it's kind of like a breakup almost. Like you kind of go through these stages where you're mad about it because you didn't have a say in the decision. You just got dumped, and you're angry about it because you liked that relationship. You liked being with that person, and you're mad because something that you liked or loved is just being ripped away from you. But then you kind of get through the madness phase, and then you get to the sad phase where you're sad that you lost this. You wish you could have it back, but it's gone, and you're just unconsolably depressed for a set period of time. And then you get through that phase of the breakup, and then you kind of come to this stage of acceptance where you're like, okay, this is happening. This is what's happened. It's time to, scrape myself off the ground and move forward. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's why I'm preparing so vigorously, because I do want to continue playing the game. I do want to try 2.0. I want to see what it's like, if it's fun, and if I'm going to do that, I'm an all or nothing guy. I'm not going to half ass anything. And anyone who's ever played this game with me um, knows that about me. Now, I have made some personal changes to how I'm going to be playing the game. I did leave Yadu. I will be playing with a different team this season. And my heart still completely goes out to Yadu. I love that team. They're a great team, and I know they're going to continue doing great things going forward. But my personal things happening in my personal life, with my personal finances, I can't play the game as much as I want to, as much as I am used to playing it, and I don't have, the capital to invest in the game that I used to have. I'm kind of hunker down mode for a little while financially with the holidays coming up. I've got a wife and kids, so I got to do what I got to do to protect my family financially. So spending a ton of money on this game is not really conducive towards that. So these are some of a number of decisions that led to ultimately making the decision to go a different direction. But I'm still going to do what I can do to plan and prepare and be on top of things as much as I can once the deployment hits. And I'm still going to be playing the game. So for those of you who don't know how much I play this game, I used to play this game probably about somewhere between 10 to 18 hours a day. Like there was a long stretch of time where if I was awake, this game was on my phone somewhere. So that is changing. I have to go into the office 3 days a week now, and I have to, obviously not be on my phone while I'm at work. And work is really busy for me right now. I have a lot of projects that I'm working on and wrapping up. I get asked to do a lot of things on an ad hoc basis. Just random things get sent my way, and I'm just very very busy. And then when I get done work, I've got a small child that and a family that I have to take care of. So with the holidays coming up, I probably am only going to be playing about 40 or 50% of the time that I'm accustomed to be playing. So instead of 10 hours a day, probably more like 2, 3, or 4, and it's going to be like in the evenings after my kids go to bed. Some days I'll do more, obviously. I'm going to try to play as much as I can, but I didn't think it was fair for Yadu to have me in a reduced capacity. Maybe they wanted me to stay in a reduced capacity, but I I don't like feeling like I am a hindrance to a team that is ultra competitive like that. So I'm playing this next season, maybe two, maybe longer, with some old friends I'm excited to be playing with, and I want to be focused, not on, you know, guiding the team, leading the team, working with strategy. I don't want to have to be doing any of these leadership things, and with this team, I don't have to do. I'm not being asked to do any of those things. So I can just focus on this, preparing my account, adapting my account to the new content, and kicking ass in battle. And that's honestly what I want to do. So, square peg, round hole in some ways for me and Yadu right now. Maybe someday in the future, um, when time, finances, and everything align, I will seek to go back. But for right now, I'm happy and comfortable with the decision that I made, and I'm really excited actually now for 2.0 because I have a game plan, and I feel like I'm not totally ready for it, but I'm a lot closer with this spreadsheet and having tools to be able to think about how I want to do things. I'm a lot more comfortable with the idea of the update now than I was a few weeks ago when I was in kind of the early stages of, for lack of a better term, the breakup with 1.0. So I hope that through watching this video, through sharing my thoughts, through sharing my feelings, through sharing my plan, through sharing my tools, through sharing my knowledge, this in some way helps you. Feel free to leave me any feedback, thoughts, questions that you might have in the comments below. Drop me a like, give me a subscribe. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I wish you nothing but the best in all of your lives, wherever in the world you may be, whatever is going on. I know there's a lot of crazy ass shit going on in the world today. So I just pray that all of you that are watching this video are safe and healthy and happy, and continue to do so, you know, for as long as possible. Turgon on the Y signing off. Take care of yourself. Stay well. Cheers.